Welcome to Zantastic. This is the podcast where we talk about what makes you fantastic. And if you're not feeling self-confidence, that might seem weird. It might not even resonate with you. It might feel like this foreign thing. One of the things when I first started using the term Zantastic, a friend had used it and I thought it was funny. So I registered a domain name and it sat there for a very long time. And then I had to start a business because I was getting paid by brands to represent them and I was getting money in and I had to put it through an LLC. So I just registered Zantastic because I had that domain and it just lined up. But when I talked to people about using the actual word Zantastic, it felt weird. It felt cocky. It felt overconfident. It felt just different than how I view myself, which means I had to use it, of course, right? I had to work through that and start putting content out there under the name of Zantastic and find comfort with it. Sometimes we just have to feel it and do it anyway and get feedback. And then the weird thing is, the more I started using the term Zantastic, the more it just felt right. The more it felt like an evolution, so to speak. It felt confident. It felt like my confidence. And that's what I'm trying to do here with Zantastic as a podcast, is to help people find confidence to go out and try. Content creators, entrepreneurs, anybody who's trying to do something new. Because I know how it's like, right? Before I started working in WordPress, I was an entrepreneur for many years, running an agency. I worked with my husband in his business, had a variety of things that I was doing as an entrepreneur. And there are times when you're meeting with a new client or finishing up a project, anything that you're doing, it can challenge your confidence. You start wondering, is this really what I should be doing? It's almost comforting to have a boss tell you this is what we're doing, because then it just takes the pressure off, right? Well, this isn't what I decided, so I'm just doing what I'm told. But that is so limiting. You limit yourself to be comfortable. You limit yourself in order to feel comfort, in order to feel a direction, in order to feel some kind of safety and security that what you're doing is right. But sometimes confidence can come from trying and succeeding beyond your wildest dreams, succeeding beyond what you thought was possible. Sometimes we need to believe in something larger than ourselves in order to lift ourselves up. You need to be self-aware, first of all, when you're developing self-confidence that is not attached to someone else's dream, right? If you're trying to build a business, no matter what it is, finding that intrinsic self-confidence and belief in yourself is a process. It's not something that you start with. You can't. You absolutely can't. When you're starting something new, there's no track record. There's nothing to rely on. There's nothing developed. You have to start from scratch and you have to develop that self-confidence around the way. It is something that will come from doing the reps, right? You have to start where you are and be aware of where you are and be aware of the vision that you have of your future. That vision sometimes is the only thing that you have to believe in. You have to write that down. You have to plan things out. You have to go deep within and be aware of who you really are. A lot of that will be spiritual self-search. You'll have to really know what excites you, what motivates you, what lights you up, and that's going to be where your confidence comes from. Because if you can align with all of that, it's going to lead to confidence in the future. What you have to watch out for at the beginning is telling yourself negative stories. Watch the negative self-talk, because that will put you behind the eight ball, right? That is going to stop you before you start. You'll start moving into things like procrastination because of the feelings that you have around taking action. You will go into perfectionism and everything has to be exactly perfect before I can press record or before I can click publish. All of these things are your fears that are getting in the way of the empowerment that you desire. Sometimes you just need to do it anyway and get feedback. Those small wins can help you start to see that your message has resonance, that your product or your service has a fit with a customer, with an actual market that needs what you have to offer. If you can start small and start where you are, it will put you on the path to success. Now, no matter where you are, whether you've just started out in business or you've been doing this for a while, you have some things that you can rely on in terms of actual data points of things that work. You have experiences. Maybe those experiences are in sports or sales or project management or marketing, writing, any type of thing that you know you do well. That is going to help you find self-confidence, because confidence will often come from competence. The things that you do exceptionally well are the things that are going to lead you to future success. Modeling an ideal is super helpful. I used to love the show Billions. The main character in Billions, Bobby Axelrod, the billionaire. How did he stand? He always stood with his shoulders back. He always stood confidently. He spoke confidently. Everything that he did came from self-confidence. When I went through a time period in my life when I had a lot of challenges around and I was pretty scared that I wasn't going to be able to handle everything that was on my plate, I would often imagine myself as I was walking the dogs, just embodying the spirit of Bobby Axelrod. I would walk with my shoulders back, and I would just pretend that I was that billionaire, that I was Bobby Axelrod, that I was the CEO of my life. And that's what I said. I am the CEO of all of this. I am the one that gets to decide how this goes. And that's true for you too. You are the CEO of your life. You are the only one that's making decisions based on what is right for you. If you are an entrepreneur, you're the CEO. If you have a side hustle, you're the CEO. You are the billionaire that's making things happen. So if you don't feel it, don't wait for that feeling to come. Manifest it by modeling characters that you've seen in TVs or movies, or even somebody you know in your real life who has those characteristics. In neurolinguistic programming, which my husband was adept with, that was one of the things that they did, is to take someone who you see certain characteristics with and you model those characteristics. You go into the state of believing that you are that character, even for a moment, and you start acting as if you are that person. If you can model someone else's behavior who has the intrinsic characteristics that you want to feel for yourself, it can be incredibly empowering. Shift your mindset, and it'll help you think about your business or your content differently. Of course, if you're doing that, you can't compare yourself to anyone else. And if anyone else is coming into your life and saying anything negative about the things that you're doing, you have to eradicate them from your life. You have to put them into a compartment and realize that what they're saying isn't necessarily true. You can go back to one of my previous episodes on how to handle criticism, but sometimes the criticism that pops up that affects our self-confidence is the criticism in our own head. We start telling ourselves stories about things that are happening, or we start looking at our analytics and we make up a story in our head that tells us why we're not hitting, the 10,000 mark, or wherever you are, the ceiling that feels like it is right above your head that you'll never reach. Each of us has that ceiling. Whether you have 20 subscribers, 200 subscribers, or 20,000, it doesn't matter. There's always a next level. So get the negative thinking out of your head, because you have to start where you are no matter what. Nobody starts at 1 million, right? They started from somewhere. So you are in process to get there. And the only way you're going to get there is to have radical self-confidence in who you are, what you're doing, and the message that you have, so that you can infuse everything that you're doing with that message of confidence. It'll come through. If you stand on a stage and you're scared, the rest of the audience, they start to feel it too. But if you stand up there and you allow yourself to feel confident and know that you're the right person to be standing on that stage with the authority to speak about whatever topic is at hand, that confidence comes through. People feel it, and then they start to believe it, and they start to reflect that back to you. You can't compare yourself to other people. Everyone's on a different journey. And even those people who have millions of subscribers on their content, those people have challenges as well. They might not be the same challenges that you have, but you can't compare yourself to them, because you are on a unique journey that is personal to you. And your self-confidence has to come from the knowledge of the vision that you have, that positive vision of the future, of whatever it is that you're working towards, and knowledge that you're going to do whatever it takes in order to get there. That is the only thing that you need to compare yourself to, where you were yesterday and where you're going. If you've felt confident in the past, but you have newfound questioning about whether or not you are on the right track, know that that is normal. know that it's not going to be a linear process. It's not an either or. You don't just feel self-confidence one day and not the next. You are going to go through various levels of confidence. For example, I feel very confident when I'm standing on stage, when I'm doing a live stream, when I'm writing content. There's tons of things that I do where I feel incredibly confident, but I'm writing new content all the time. I'm recording these podcasts every single week. Sometimes I feel immense self-confident with the content at hand, and I know this stuff and I can speak to it. But other times I feel a little shaky. I'll go research things. I'll see what other people are doing. I'll get an idea from something someone else has said and turn it into something that's my own. I find confidence on the way. There's always going to be a challenge of finding confidence with the content you're producing or with the marketing that you're doing. It is a journey. And you might feel confident one day with one thing and not feel confident the next day with the same exact thing. Thing is to just do it anyway, see how it goes, and try to aim for like 80% perfect. Don't try to aim for 100% because you're never going to get it. Things are going to go wrong. Know that when things don't go exactly as planned, that can be perfect in and of itself. Let things be as they are and continuously push yourself towards that vision of success that you have in your mind. Here's the thing. Someone once told me you have to take action before the motivation exists. It works for exercise. I mean, there's plenty of times I wake up in the morning and it's like, I just don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to lift weights. I'm working out at home now. Rather than going to the gym, it's made things a little bit easier. I'll actually write a few paragraphs, do a few reps, come back and do a little bit more, take care of some other business. I'm integrating exercise into my life rather than going to the gym, and it's required a new way of working out. But I've noticed that the times that I don't want to are the times I need to do it the most. I need to take action despite the resistance, because when I do that, it helps me find greater confidence. With exercise, I feel better the next day when I do exercise. And with content and with anything else that I create, I feel confident when it's done. It's when there's a blank page or when I'm half done or I can't find the exact quote I want to use or the exact statistics to support whatever it is I'm trying to say. Then I start feeling lack of confidence in whatever I'm doing. But I find it eventually because I keep going. When you keep going, the self-confidence will come. You have to be patient with yourself, right? Think about the show Billions and Bobby Axelrod. Was he confident all the time? In front of other people, yeah, those shoulders were back and he was incredibly confident. He knew who he was, he knew what he wanted, and he was ready to negotiate for whatever it is that he was trying to get. But in private, what did he have? He had someone on staff to be his counselor, to be there and talk through some of his psychological issues and even some of his confidence issues. He wasn't a perfect person. He did have issues where he didn't feel 100% confident. Know that it's okay. Give yourself patience. Give yourself grace. Give yourself space to work through whatever is coming up and know that it's just part of the journey. Self-confidence isn't an either or. It's not something you turn on and then turn off. It's something that evolves over time when you put focus and intention upon it. My husband created a product called Superstar Confidence. I'm going to leave a link down below if you want to go through that, because it does help you anchor into your body that feeling of confidence. I've used it numerous times because I am just inherently someone who questions everything that I do. But when it comes to certain things, I am 100% confident, and I'm here, and I'm Zantastic. So I hope this helped you think through confidence and how important it is. I mean, as an entrepreneur or a content creator, if you're trying to do anything creative, confidence is going to be a big part of it, right? Because there's so many things that can pop into your head that take you off of the path and make you question whether or not what you are doing is resonant with an audience. It is just part of the journey. The only thing you can do is just keep going. Keep pushing ahead. Keep finding ways to support yourself and stay true to the vision that you have of wherever it is that you are going. I hope this episode was helpful to you. And take a look at Mark's product linked below, Superstar Confidence. It's pretty inexpensive, but it's incredibly powerful. He was a master with neurolinguistic programming, and his process can really help you anchor in that superstar confidence if that is something you're working towards. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up, a like. I will see you on the internet next time.